everybody, welcome to this week's Trimcraft Tuesday video. This week I'm scrapbooking again with the beautiful Dovecraft Secret Garden collection. At this stage I didn't know which photo I was scrapbooking. I took two possibilities, you can see them on the side there, and thought I would wait and see which one worked better once I'd done a little bit more of the layout. I knew both of them would go with this collection, but which one would end up going with the layout was yet to be found out. So the background is just some cream textured paper, which is from my stash, and then I took that lavender paper and then, as you saw, just held it up against that paper and then ripped the two edges, one like sort of going wider at the top and down to be smaller at the bottom, and then did the opposite with the other one. And then I took some Distress Oxide in Victorian Velvet just to add some colour around the edges, and then here I'm just sort of marking with a pencil the widest points of those little strips I'm going to add to the edges. And I'm going to take the floral washi tape from this collection and just sort of place that down so it's going to poke out from underneath those bits. As you see here, I did it way too long a piece. There is a plane going past really loudly. But yeah, just like last week's video, I'm ripping up the washi so you get all those nice ripped edges, and I'm just, yeah, it adds a really nice texture, I think. So I keep placing that ripped piece of paper back onto the page so I can work out where the washi needs to be, and keep going back and forth doing that over and over. Then I'm going to add double-sided tape to the back of those ripped pieces, not to the very edge though, because I want to tear up those edges and pull them back a little more. And then once that is stuck down, I'm just going to do the exact same thing on the other side, tear up little strips of washi, place them down, take the piece of paper, work out where they're supposed to be, and yeah, just keep going like that. I will admit this is one of those layouts where when I sat down to make it, I had no plan in my head whatsoever. Like, sometimes I have a very rough idea of what I'm doing, but this one I had nothing, so I'm totally making this up on the fly. And there were stages during the making where I didn't like the layout so much, but I do end up liking it in the end. So once everything is stuck down, I'm going to pull and tear up at those ripped edges there. But then doing that, I realised obviously I was exposing some of the background, and all that stuff I'd done with the washi kind of became irrelevant. So whoops, lesson learned there. So instead I took some of the Dovecraft washi. This is the pastel or floral box of washi, one of their new releases, which I featured in my video the other day, and thought I would just use some pieces of that to fill in those little white gaps. Well, they're actually cream gaps because it's cream paper, but you know what I mean. So I took 3 purple and 2 or 3 of this floral white one, just because I liked the purple washi when I put it down, but I thought if I use that to fill in all the gaps, it's gonna be too much. So brought in one that was just a white background with a simple floral on, and as I said, filling in all the gaps with that washi. At that stage I decided on this photo just because, I don't know, the colours just worked better. There's more saturation in this photo, it's slightly brighter, and it just worked better. That's all I can say for it. So I decided to do some stamping with the stamp set from this collection, and I started off stamping that lavender piece down the bottom there and went, oh no, that looks awful. I mean, it's so black. So what I'm going to do for the rest of the stamping is second generation stamping, where I've just got a scrap piece of paper, and then, oh look there as well, I made an ink smudge on the paper. I was having one of those days, but thankfully it's in the place where I was going to put the picture so I can cover up that ink smudge. But yeah, doing second generation stamping where you stamp once on a scrap and then stamp again, and you get that much more faded effect. So I did a little bit of stamping around the edges with the lavender stamp and then the floral one as well, and then I put it aside to come back to it a little bit later because it just wasn't going very well at that stage. I am going to cover up that really dark stamping at the bottom there, so just, I know looking at it right now it looks horrendous, but it will be covered up. The plane is going past again. What is it with planes in my town recently? Anyways, I backed the photo just with some scraps from the collection, then added a doily, then propped the whole thing up on foam. I thought I would cover up that stamping with a tag. I actually think that's a Simply Creative Christmas tag, the craft one there. I'm pretty sure it is, but anyways, when I put it down there at that stage, I was just, yeah, that wasn't right either. So I thought I'd add some of the mini bunting and twine from the collection, and so I started off doing it all the way across the top, just putting the bunting around the layout, fixing it down with some what I call scrap washi, you know, washi tape that you don't really like the pattern of, but it's handy to have around for doing things like this and die cutting and just holding things in place. But yeah, did that and didn't like it. So lots of experimentation going on in this layout, lots of things that I do and then don't like, and yeah, so I didn't like it all the way across, but I really wanted to include the bunting, so instead I just did it around that top left corner, and I preferred that a whole lot more. When you do that, obviously when you put the bunting, not the bunting, the twine around the layout, fix it at the back, it's straight, so if you use one of your first pieces of bunting just to pull down the twine so it looks more like it's got a natural bend in it, then it just looks better than the twine being straight. And then so I did it at the top, and I thought we need another one, so I did it again at the bottom. I thought about doing it at the bottom right so it was on opposite sides of the page, but I just thought that would look too, what's the word, like manufactured, if you know what I mean there. So it just looked a bit more natural, I suppose, doing it at the bottom left instead. And it also made a nice base for the tag, because the tag on its own originally just, again, didn't look right, and then so with the bunting gave it a nice base. I wrote on my tag what the picture is. It says Lydia dancing with Mr. Wickham in summer 2005. I have scrapbooked about this before, but way back in 2005 I would have been 15. I was in a production of Pride and Prejudice and I was Lydia. Very appropriate for my personality, I think. And so yeah, I've already scrapbooked that before, but this is just another picture from it, and it's me dancing with my Mr. Wickham. We had to do a lot of dances, learn a lot of dances for that production. Couldn't remember any of them now. If you ask me, like, do a Regency dance, nope, can't remember, but we had to learn about 10 or more. Anyways, I went around the tag with just some of this puffy stickers from the collection, and here I'm doing some more of that second generation stamping, because the way I'd done it originally, they were both just like all the stamping was going up the two sides and it looked very unnatural, so I'm adding more in other places and like only adding ink to small sections of the stamp, so I'm not stamping the whole stamp every time, so like there's a little bit of the flower poking up over the photo and things like that. I'm just going to finish off here with some Nouveau drops. These are the stone drops. I just thought the texture would be really nice for this sort of slightly antiquated, can't speak, Regency vibe. So there is the chalk white stone drops and the pink granite, I think they are called. And with this, my layout is finished. So yes, this video has been a bit back and forth because I just was very indecisive making this layout, but I am very happy with the way it turned out. Thank you so much for watching. I will leave links to where you can get Secret Garden from, as well as some of the other products I've used. Please leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, chat to me down in the comments, and yeah, thank you again. Bye bye!